Watem here, welcome back to some Umineko When Seagulls Cry, where, well, relatives just asked, to ask the, Kinzo directly. So we'll see how this goes.
ローザとキリエさんの言う通りだわ。お父様に聞きましょうよ、お父様に。もはやね、兄さんたちの出番じゃないのよ。
Time to have him disappear then.
せやせや。お父さんを連れてこんかい。あんたらじゃ話にならへん。ほんまの親族会議を始めようやないか。眠いから明日にしろっちゅう問題に見えまっか。これ舐めとったらえらい問題になりますぜ。おう、聞いとるんかい。
I think the plan now is to just immediately go on with the, what was it? Kinzo has already gone missing plan. And just execute it immediately from when they get back. That's also suspicious still, but if they can communicate it with the servants in advance quickly somehow, although I don't think she's mentioned the plan at all, any of them.
お前らじゃ話にならん言うとるんや。たったとお父さん連れてこんかい。
親族会議っていつもこういうのなんですか？
俺が知るか。
腹の中ではいつもこうなのでしょうね。
I do like that solo violin part at the start of the music there.
どうもこの場は金蔵さんじゃないと収められなくなるみたい。子供の喧嘩に余命あとわずかと宣告されてる今になってもまだ呼び出されるなんて、どういう気持ちかしらね、金蔵さん。
And you're happy about that.
それを想像、いいえ、推理するのもおつなものです。
The parents ignored Battler and Erica and kept yelling at each other, on and on. Even though Battler had more or less imagined that this sort of thing happened behind the scenes, this was the first time he'd seen it. He suspected it since 6 years ago, and he'd been able to get a pretty good idea of what this was like by the darkening expressions on his parents' faces when this time of year drew near. However, this argument his relatives were having before his very eyes was much more ugly than he'd imagined. I was expecting disappointing, but that works too. That's why he was very glad that he'd called the adults out here without letting the cousins catch wind of anything. Perhaps because everyone was tired out from this seemingly endless argument, they took a short break. Now that I'm thinking about it... Ooh, no, that really doesn't make sense. Because the end... I was just remembering the end of the Epitaph has a section on you go to the Golden Land for the first and last time. Maybe that's... I guess it has to do with the letters that are left behind. Because the... Yeah, Battler and... Erica I've already been to the Golden Land, left, and come back again for a second time. Meanwhile, it would have been fitting for Eva and Rosa, because they only went once. Although maybe Rosa went again afterwards. Did I read that line? Yep. It was decided that this family conference inside the Golden Land should be moved over to the mansion. This place may have been gorgeous, like a VIP room, but there was no heating, and it was a little cold. It wasn't well suited for a long conversation. They thought of the possibility that someone might snatch the gold away while their backs were turned. Good luck with all of that. But of course, no one could manage that much with just human hands and a small amount of time when it's 10 tons of gold they're dealing with. In fact, it might be said that having this mountain of gold in the background was actually robbing them of the ability to make sound decisions. So they agreed to return to the mansion, in part so that they could regain their composure and continue the conference more cold-bloodedly. Yeah, I imagine with 10 tons of gold though, and it was said to be very high purity gold as well. Definitely some of the gold bars at the bottom have been squashed a bit. I think they're saying over 99.9%. Yeah, gold by itself is very soft. Often it is with an alloy of other things, which makes it... and then make it a lot stronger. But by itself, yeah, soft.
これ以上はお邪魔でしょうから。
お、悪いな。気を使わせちまったか。
あなたへのお礼は明日改めてさせてちょうだいね。恥ずかしいところを見せてごめんなさい。あなたは辞退すると言ったけど、私たちはあなたへの感謝の気持ちを込めて第一発見者の一人にふさわしい分け前を用意させていただくわ。ねえ兄さん。
君ほどの人だ。我々の事情は察してくれると思うね。
$20 billion yen in gold isn't something they wanted out in the open. Really? You don't want to use it for leverage? They didn't want an outsider like Erika telling people about it. Of course, Erika had already reasoned out that much. She wore an unpleasant smile on her face, and so she understood all too well.
私のことはお気になされなくて結構です。もちろん口外する気もありません。したところで証拠を示せぬ限り誰も信じないでしょうし、今夜は良いものを見せてもらいました。眼福でしたので私はこれでもう十分です。
そうね。10トンの黄金なんてなかなか見られるものじゃないもんね。
You can say that again. Although maybe there's a gold reserve in New York, I think, that has a lot of gold in it because it's a lot of countries' gold reserves. They probably have 10 tons of gold there, right? Seeing the gold was a spectacle? Of course not. Judging by Erika's dark nature, it's obvious what she's so happy about. I thought about telling her to just go away, but even I wanted to get out of this place. I tried to head back to the guest house along with Erika. However, Kirie's son grabbed my shoulder.
バトラ君はダメよ。
Rip.
あなたも一緒に来てちょうだい。
せやせや。君は今や立派な次期当主なんやで。お父さんにお目通りして早くそれを認めてもらわんとな。
それを決めていいのは当主様だけです。勝手なことを決めないように。
バトラ、面倒だろうがもうしばらく付き合ってもらうぞ。お前は何も言うな。黙ってうつむいてりゃいいんだ。分かったね。
Yep, you're the successor, but don't talk. Don't do anything.
好きにし
It would have been easy to say that I had no interest in being the successor. But I was sure that would only add more oil to the fire. Even if I hadn't been ordered to keep quiet, staying shut up like a clown was clearly a good idea. Yeah, I mean, even in historical settings, you didn't have to want to be king for a claimant faction to try to push for you to be the king. Push for your claim to the throne. In that case, would it really be so bad if they just let me go back to the guest house? Dad put his arm firmly around my shoulder, and I told him it was uncomfortable to let go. However, he didn't pay attention to a word I said. Maybe the real enemy was the treasures we made along the way. Except that wasn't Game World Battler that solved it, it was Erica Battler. No, Bunkersoul Battler that solved it.
お前がゲームマスターの時にはいつも手紙が来るもんな。碑文を解いてみろ。解けなきゃ皆殺しだ。みたいな。
Why? Why did you want to make us solve the riddle of the Epitaph? By solving it, we found a mountain of gold. Yippee for us. What about Beato? Does she gain anything by having us find the gold? Well, you become distracted. Or does she lose something?
チェスパン思考にのっとる限り、人は自らが損になる一手は打たない。だからお前は、俺たちが碑文を解くことで何か得をするはずなんだ。
Alternatively, they have something to gain by distracting you with trying to solve the epitaph. That is another possibility.
いいえ。碑文を誰かが解くことで、この子が何かを得ることはありません。
Alternatively, it isn't actually Beatrice's wish for the letter to arrive.
いいのか？こいつに断らずに、勝手に赤き真実を使っちまっても。
この子もそれを望むでしょうから。
Vigilia, who had suddenly appeared there, quickly gave an answer to my question with the red truth.
俺は過去に、ベアトが碑文を俺たちに解かせようとするのは、黄金の隠し場所を見つけさせて、横取りするためだと推理したことがある。それも違うのか？
はい。第一、もともと黄金鏡の黄金はこの子のもの。
That last line again?
見つけさせる必要も横取りする必要も何もありません。
Of course. Beato is Beatrice the Golden. Isn't she the master of the Golden Land and the Utremere family alchemist? That totally makes sense. However, that makes me even more confused. Even if someone exposed the answer to the Epitaph's riddle, Beato has nothing to gain. No, to the contrary. Her own gold might be stolen away. But ask yourself this. Does she need the gold? Maybe it's not something that has much value to her.
なら、ますますにわからない。
So trade, for example, is not a zero-sum game. You trade something which you have plenty of, and so it has little value to you, to someone else for something that you don't have much of, and so has high value to you. Meanwhile, on the other side, they don't have what you have, and so what you're giving and is low value to you is high value to them. And what they give to you is low value to them, but high value to you. In a similar way, you can have someone give up something which doesn't have much value to them, but has a lot of value to you. It's whether or not it ends up in a situation where you get it or not, it doesn't matter too much to them.
非分殺人はわかる。後ろ宮家に対する復讐とか、あるいは魔女としての力を復活させるための儀式とか。こいつなりの理由や目的があってやってるんだろうからな。だが、非分の謎を解けというのにはどんな意味があるんだ。俺たちが解いても解かなくてもこいつに得るものは何もない。つまりベアトにとって非分の謎が解ける解けないという問題は無価値なものなんだ。
そうですね。非分の謎が解けても解けなくてもこの子にとって得るものは何もありません。
解けても解けなくても何の意味もない。
So yeah, at least two possibilities. The goal isn't whether you solve it or not, but the action of attempting to solve it somehow helps her, or doesn't really care about it. But gets some other marginal gain. Or no gain. It's just something to do, maybe. Or it's not from her. Those are my three possibilities that I can think of, at least.
それはつまり、非分の謎自体がベアトにとって無価値だということになるんじゃないのか。
Again, not necessarily.
そうですね。
I don't like your hesitation there.
非分の謎はこの子にとって何の意味もない。
That's not in red.
ならばそれを無価値であると極論しても言い返せないかもしれませんね。
Beato, why are you making us solve the Epitaph's riddle? We liken the witch you are to a pair of scales. The Epitaph murders lie on one plate, and the riddle of the Epitaph lies on the other plate. After all, she's saying she'll stop the Epitaph murders if the Epitaph is solved. In other words, the Epitaph murders and the Epitaph's riddle are worth the same to Beato, like two sides on a balanced scale. That means that both the Epitaph's riddle and massacring all the relatives are equally significant from Beato's point of view. The Vigilia responded with the red truth. Regardless of whether the Epitaph is solved or not, Beato has nothing to gain. She has nothing to gain, then this Epitaph's riddle is meaningless and immaterial to Beato. I feel like there's a middle ground in between those two options she isn't considering. In that case, how much are the Epitaph murders, which lie on the other side of the scales and are equal to the Epitaph's riddle in value, worth to her? Think, don't stop thinking. The Epitaph murders and solving the riddle of the Epitaph have equal worth. As long as the Epitaph murders, which are Beato's goal each time, have this single way that they can be stopped, the way that she decided on herself, both are worth the same thing to her. X equals Y. And whether the Epitaph's riddle is solved or not, Beato has nothing to gain. Y equals 0. So in this case, what is X?
おいおい。それじゃ、非分殺人もまた無意味、無価値ってことになっちまうぞ。
Perhaps not.
こいつはご丁寧に予告状を出し、非分に沿うように順番にバレないように次々殺していくというめちゃくちゃ面倒な手間を払ってまで。毎度あのおかしな連続殺人を起こしてるんだぜ。その意味がなくなっちまうじゃねえか。
spun the chessboard around and searched for Uberta's moves over and over. It's always the first place I stumble. The significance of the Epitaph murders. Why did she have to commit serial murders in a way that reproduced the witch's epitaph? If she wanted to kill the whole Shiromia family for revenge, it'd be much simpler, safer, and more reliable if she just put poison into their dinner. Or else went around killing people one by one in the middle of the night while they were sleeping. However, on the first evening, Goethe sent us a letter that sounded like an advance notice, and then carried out a 3-part serial murder with large gaps in between. 6 people on the first twilight, 2 people of the second twilight, and the 5 people of the fourth and later twilights. We aren't fools. You aren't? Oh. Once the first murders occur, we barricade ourselves in somewhere to stave off any further murders. Furthermore, we quickly suspect the culprit among us and start analysing each other's alibis. As the victims increase, the number of suspects decreases automatically. And Berta's chances of success in this serial murder drop closer and closer to 0. All the Epitaph murders are like she's strangling her own neck, making it harder to succeed in the serial murder she's attempting. All for a useless embellishment. All just for show.
こいつは自分で自分の目的の難易度上げてい
そうなりますね。おかしな子ですね。
知ってるか？ミステリー小説ではこういう非分殺人のことを見立て殺人という。
I just say it's very Agatha Christie.
この見立て殺人が行われる理由を俺は3つに大別できると思ってる。
伺いましょう。
Mysteries are mystery novels, yeah, specifically. Not to be confused with in real life.
一つは非分に沿うことで証拠やアリバイをごまかし犯人に利するためだ。
For example, saying the 6th, suggesting that all 6 were killed at the same time, perhaps they weren't. But, yeah, that's...
死んだふりをして自らを犠牲者に混ぜる古典もこれだし、非分に沿わずに殺人を犯し、その発生順序を誤解させることによってアリバイを作るのもこれだ。
なるほど。非分に沿って儀式的に殺していると見せかけて、実は自分に利するように誘導しているわけですね。面白いと思います。
だが俺たちのゲームでは死者が赤でとどめを刺されちまう。ゲーム版の世界ではごまかせても、ここから俯瞰する俺たちはごまかせない。だからこの最も王道となる目的は違うってことになる。
となると、見立て殺人を行うあと2つの理由は？
一つは偶然。意図せずして行った連続殺人がたまたま非分をなぞる形になり、
That's unlikely in this case.
目撃者たちが勝手に見立て殺人だと誤解するケース。人間はどのような事象にも因果性を求めてしまう。きっとそうに違いないと思ったら、そう見えてしまう生き物だ。
なるほど。それも面白いですね。ですがどうでしょう。この子のゲームでは第一の晩の殺人以前に常に事件が予告されている。そして明白に非分殺人を遂行していることを示す手紙や状況証拠が次々に見つかるはずです。
ああ、そうだな。偶然なんかじゃない。ベアートは初めから非分殺人を見せつける目的で遂行している。
Another one is, so yeah, you can also kind of group them into 2 categories. ones where the plot line is made by the person doing the murders, and one where the plot line has been appropriated to follow a pattern.
俺たちが誤解してるんじゃない。これは明白な見立て殺人なんだ。だからこの理由でもない。
となると最後の一つの理由になりますね。
Let's see what Battler has for this.
最後の一つは見せつけること。
So, in that vein, we have seen the safe numbers, I think. So the number that was given to go to the safety deposit box in the bank, we saw that same number appear on the wall in one of the previous episodes.
つまり恐怖だ。非分に沿うということは殺人が連続するという明白な予告だ。生存者たちは続くに違いない殺人にずっと怯えさせられることになる。
つまりこの子は死の恐怖を味わわせるために非分殺人を。
と思うと割と収まりがいい。グロい遺体損壊も悪趣味な装飾もすべて俺たちを怖がらせるための演出。
誰を怖がらせるためなのですか？
だからそれは俺たちを。
It's not one specific person or specific people in the know. After hearing that one line Virgilia spoke so casually, my thoughts clouded over once again. Is it really sufficient to use vague word us? There are many humans in the Yashromiya family. There's the head, and the one who holds the rank of his successor, grandfather and Uncle Kraus. There's the relatives who have some pool in the business world. On the other side, you have the young cousins, who usually visit at most once a year. And the unfortunate servants, who just happened to be on duty that day. Even if the culprit hates all of us, there should be clear differences in how much they hate some of us compared to others. So, it should be possible to pick out people among us that the culprit especially wanted to terrorize or have revenge against. We liken this to a kid eating dessert. Isn't the strawberry on top of a shortcake the part you should eat last? No one tells you that you shouldn't eat it first, but our mentality encourages us to save it for later.
じゃあ最も恨んでいる人物を最後まで残したがるってことになるよな。
And who has survived until the end every single time?
ああ、俺の好きな小説の好きなキャラが言ってたぜ。
Gonna be like Higurashi.
そいつの親しいものから先に殺していって悲しみを味わわせてから最後に本人を殺すってのが
I feel like that came up in Higurashi.
一番恐ろしい殺し方なんだみたいなことを。
おやおや、恐ろしい小説もあったものですね。くわばらくわばら。
じゃあ最後まで生き残るやつが最もベアトに恨まれてるって論法になるぜ。しかし毎回殺される人間も順序もめちゃくちゃじゃねえか。
Except
最終的には死ぬにせよ最後の晩まで毎回生き残るやつなんて。
You. And it seemed also last time that you specifically were given the task. I'm the only one.
先に赤で申し上げておきましょう。
Oh? Well, before we get to that, I'm going to end it there for today. I hope you've all enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And until next time, see ya.